Questions for Coach?
Recording in progress.
Robert, when you guys looked at the red zone trips yesterday, what kind of led to the breakdowns there?
It comes down to execution. Obviously, there's things that we could have done better from as a coaching staff, and there's things that we could have done better as players from an execution part. And then credit to them too; they played situations really well. So, it was. I'm not going to get too detailed with scheme, cause I apologize. And there's always going to be things that we could have done better, whether it was alignments, a call, execution, strain, whatever you want to call it. But it just wasn't. Obviously, it just wasn't a good day in the red zone.
Robert, when you go back and look at it, is 58 dropbacks okay now? I mean, I know you talked right after the game, flow of the game, things like that, but you think maybe should have been a little less, or did you see anything there?
Anytime, it's not a coincidence that when we win, it's like, oh wow, they ran the ball really well. It's because you're in the fourth quarter, you're running out the clock, and when you lose, it's well, geez, they threw the ball so much, and I think that's been a common theme throughout every single game that you see. We're down a couple scores in the fourth quarter. I think we ended up having 20 passes in the fourth quarter. You'd always love to start have an identity of running the ball, but at the same time, part of the game plan was to utilize those short checkdowns as part of the run game, which we were doing a really good job of. And so while they look like passes on the stat sheet, it's we're trying to get the ball in space and move the ball, which we were. We had I think 5 consecutive scoring drives. We got in the red zone 6 times. We got into the scoring position in the red zone, I think 7 consecutive drives. So we were moving the ball really well, giving ourselves a chance. We just couldn't punch it in.
Robert, did Mike White kind of show you anything, or did Mike White show you anything with his ability to stretch the field and kind of attack that second level of the defense where it wasn't just the short passes he was having success with?
I feel like I talked about this one before, and that it's kind of, I think he was. I think we're reflecting back on the Cincinnati game from a year ago with you guys here in this room, and we talked about the reason why he took all those checkdowns is because that's what Cincinnati was giving him. But if Mike needed to push the ball downfield, he could push the ball downfield, which he did a couple of times against the Bears, and then with the Vikings yesterday, he had the opportunity to push the ball downfield, and he did. So we feel like Mike can do both. He can push it downfield. He can take his checkdowns. He's capable of doing both, and so I'm not surprised to answer your question. It's stuff that he's just really good at making the decisions he needs to make on game day to move the ball forward.
Hey, Robert, when you look back on last year's Buffalo game with Mike, what do you feel like he learned from that? And is that something that this week he and you guys will look back on? Obviously, it's the same system, same defense.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of things that he learned from even in that moment. And it's just to take his game forward from that moment onto where we are now. I think in the second half, the game was going okay in the first half. We were moving the ball, same thing. We just weren't able to score. But in the second half, they scored right before the half, if I remember right. I got to dig into this, but it was 17, then scored right out of the locker room. Now we're down 24-3, and then we throw an interception, and now it's 31-3, just like that. And now you're chucking it all over the place and doing what you really don't want to do, which is push the ball downfield in a desperate frame of mind. You're playing a top defense like that, you're probably going to turn the ball over. So it was one of those games that just kind of snowballed on the entire team, not just him. And he was put in a really bad situation.
Do you recall, just as a quick follow, how you saw him handle that? I mean, obviously it had such the great go in the Cincinnati game, and then he had it going again in the Indy game before he got hurt. That was kind of the first smack of the face, so to speak. Do you remember how he handled that back then?
I do. I remember him and just listening to the conversations and being part of the conversations of him just wishing he could have a lot of those plays back, and just recalling how he approached the game, and felt like he took a lot of I'm not going to say what he said, Mark, forgive me, but I just remember him having a tremendous amount of growth from that game, and the way he played, and recognizing some of the things that he did that helped him to find ways to get better. So,
thanks.
Hey, Robert, I got a two-parter here. One, indulge me my weekly quarterback question. So it's still status quo week to week? And then the second, it's okay. I have to ask.
No, that's okay, Rich.
It seems fairly obvious, but the second one on the 4th and 1 play to Berrios, can you just walk us through the thought process, specifically going empty there? You're basically eliminating the threat of the run. So I'm wondering what LaFleur was thinking there. What just the entire play and the concept.
Yeah. First down, I'll go through that whole sequence. First down, we get the run down to the 1 yard line. Second down, we run again. They do a nice job. They penetrate the C gap. Bam does a good job getting to the line of scrimmage. Third down is an RPO. So if it's a handoff or throw option, unfortunately we fell on the play, but we're still thinking there. But now it's 4th down, and it's call your best play. Call your best possible play that you've been working on the entire game, the one that's going to find ways to get open. And we had a guy open. It just didn't work out. You can say a little bit off, catch a ball, whatever it is. And can Mike think the same thing? Could you put a guy in the backfield to show a run, Rich? Sure. Anytime something doesn't work, you're always going to want to hit the rewind button. But at that moment, you've got to stick to your preparation, stick to what you've done, and what is the best thing we can call at this moment. And that's what we went with. And so we can second guess. We always do. We'll always challenge ourselves as coaches, but that was the play we were excited about, and it just didn't work out.
Robert, just a kind of to confirm, just again, kind of dotting I's and crossing T's. Will Zach be inactive again this week, or has he done enough to be the backup quarterback? Have you seen enough for him to be the backup?
We're going to go. It's going to be status quo, so he'll still be. The plan is for him to still be inactive, unless something changes.
Robert, you've obviously beaten Buffalo already this year, but to beat them in December on the road when everyone looks at them as a legitimate Super Bowl contender, what do you think that would say about where your program is right now?
I'm just trying to get through today first, though, Ian, before we get past that one. But Buffalo is super talented. They got Superman at quarterback. They got hell of a defense. They do as good a job as anybody with situational football and all that stuff. And they're clearly a Super Bowl contender. And they're coming off 10 days of rest at home. So this is an ultimate challenge for us to go out there and just stay focused, take it one play at a time. And we have beat them in the past. It is what it is, but it's going to be a big time battle for us for sure.
Do you think what Mike White showed yesterday in terms of his poise in a loud and hostile environment, how much does that help your team, knowing that your quarterback will respond that way and fight back in the second half the way he did, as you now face a similar challenge next Sunday?
No, that's a good question, Ian. But it's not just a quarterback. We're a young football team, especially on offense, and that stadium was awesome. That the crowd noise, the atmosphere. That was as close to playoff football as you can get, being on the road and against a 10-2 football team now, 9-2 at the time. I thought our guys responded well, played their absolute hearts out. That's why I said what I said after the game. I mean, if we can play that hard and that relentless and show that much fight, play in and play out, we're going to like the results more often than not. And unfortunately, we fell short. We're not the first team that fell short against them, and won't be the last team. It's a good football team. They're well coached, but at the same time, I just got a lot of faith in just the growth that we'll take from that game as such a young football team, and we'll continue to keep fighting. We got 5 of these left. We got 5 true championship / playoff opportunities left with 5 really good football teams, starting with Buffalo. So it's going to be a lot of chances to grow, and hopefully in the right direction.
Robert, I want to jump in on the quarterback questions. Is your intent still to have Zach play this season?
That's still, I'm still right there with that same intent. Zach's been doing everything right. He's been putting in the extra meeting time. He's been putting in the extra work after practice. Really working on trying to retie all his fundamentals together, and spending extra time with him. All the work that he's doing on scout team with regards to playing quarterback the way. And I know people think scout team, all offenses to a degree run the same stuff, but just tying it all together and getting completions against our defense, just get completions and regain all the confidence that we know he's capable of and all the different things that he's capable of as a quarterback. So, but the intent is to still get him back on the football field.
I guess Michael, go ahead. My follow-up question would be why? Because it looks like Mike White's capable as a quarterback to.
Mike is capable for sure.
And you guys are in a playoff push, right? There's only 5 games left, so it's not like we're in September here and you're saying, hey, he's going to play. So I guess just why is that the intent still to get Zach back on the field?
So for Mike, and I'm going to stay status quo on all of it, this is Mike's opportunity to make noise. And you never ask how your opportunity comes. You just take advantage of your opportunity and you do the best you can. And so it's, we got all the faith in Mike. I've said it before, and I know the line, if you have more than one quarterback, you have none. Well, we feel like we have 3 of them. We got 3 pretty damn good ones. And but right now, while Zach is focusing on reconnecting and doing all the different things that we know he's capable of, right now is Mike's opportunity. And I really would love to just focus on Mike and his opportunity and give him every chance to succeed.
Take a few more, Coach. A few more.
Mike could ruin that plan then, Robert, right? If I'm understanding correctly. If he plays well. Is that a backdoor hypothetical, Kaz? No hypothetical. I mean, he's played well through, right? He's played well.
He's played really well. He's played really well. And he's played really well.
Robert, because he's a little older, you talked about the youth of the offense. Is it sometimes hard to remember that he's only had 5 starts in the NFL?
He's only had 5 starts, but that's the quarterback position, guys. Again, like it's hard. It's the hardest position in all of sports, and by far, you can't argue. You can't argue with me otherwise, or convince me otherwise. And Mike he's been in the league for a couple of years, but like you said, it's his 5th start, and one of them he only played a quarter before he got hurt. So it's really he's only finished 4 games. And so just for him, there's so many things that he's learning, and he's getting better every time he steps on the football field. So he is still a pup in terms of just overall playing time. But he's, I've played against him when I was at San Francisco when he was a young rookie. He was in the preseason, and so he's come a long way. I can promise you that much.
Last one here.
Just to follow up on Kaz's question, and I asked Mike LaFleur this the other day, but are you at least open to the possibility that Mike White is your long-term quarterback and just happens to be a better football player than Zach Wilson? Is that at least a possibility that could happen?
1 week at a time. 1 week at a time, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes today's availability.